2009. You decide. The Mayor's Race with John Erling.
And welcome to the Mayor's Race with John Erling. As you know, we're down to the finals now. We have 4 candidates remaining for the mayor's race. We have Democrat Tom Adelson, Republican Dewey Bartlett, 2 independents, Mark Perkins and Lawrence Patrick. We vote on these individuals, as you know, on November 10th. Today I want to talk about our city budget in these lagging economic times. What are we going to do about it? What about relationship between the council and the mayor? What about South Tulsa? There's a bridge that needs to be talked about. And also what the Creek Nation wants to do in development in South Tulsa, and maybe even talk about trash pickup. So I'll be back in a moment with Democrat Tom Adelson in a moment. Stay with us.
Cruise the nation's biggest stretch of Route 66 in Oklahoma. Visit travelok.com. Oklahoma, Native America.
When you hear the piano of Ramsey Lewis and the voice of Michael McDonald, you know you've found the smoothest place on your radio. Smooth jazz. You know Kenny G. And you know Earth, Wind, and Fire. You're definitely in good company on the smoothest place on your radio with Smooth Jazz, CD 103.7.
Since 1996, Chef Michael Fusco has entertained guests with a delectable menu selection and a wonderful dining experience. Michael Fusco's Riverside Grill is his latest creation, welcoming guests for a truly flavorful menu selection where everything is cooked to order by the finest chefs. Winner of the Wine Spectator Award, Michael Fusco's Riverside Grill offers pages of complimentary and unique wine selections. Michael Fusco's Riverside Grill, 9912 Riverside Parkway, 394 Chef.
We can't promise it'll make your days less hectic, help the kids get along, or make you look thinner. But Stainmaster Carpet does last up to 50% longer and stay up to 30% cleaner than other carpets, adding more comfort and style than ever to your home.
Come in for the great fall fix-up for special savings on Stainmaster Carpet. Like this fabulous Frisé for only $269 per square foot installed. There's never been a smarter time to fix up your home than right now at Mill Creek Carpet and Tile.
2009. You decide. The Mayor's Race with John Erling.
So Tom, thanks for joining us on our program.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's talk about the economy and talk about the budget of the city. Sales tax revenues dropped about 10.5% compared to the same month last year of September. A $1.9 million decline. It was only 1.76% below the city's budget projection. But we've already eliminated 97 city jobs, 8 unpaid furlough days on all 4,000 employees. If the revenue continues to drop, an additional $2.9 million in cuts could be triggered. So here we go. That could mean abolishing 18 more city positions, as well as abolishing the scheduled police and fire academies. I know you've given thought to this, and how far do we go to stop the bleeding?
Right. Well, first we'll have to wait and see what the budget shortfall is, and these are very difficult times. But it calls to question a more structural problem that's been going on for some time. And it's actually one of the big differences between myself and my opponent, which is for quite some time we've had ever-increasing infrastructure costs in a thinning city population to support basic city services. We've been adding about 25 miles of new streets every year for about the last 30 years. And we've lost about 1% of our sales tax market share to the surrounding cities. It's about close to $1 million a year for the last 15 years. So ever-increasing infrastructure costs and thinning population to support that infrastructure, what do you do? One of the things that I talk a lot about and I put on my website is I think long-term, and we need to begin right away, having a more regional approach to government. We have to stop the destructive competition for the tax base between Tulsa and the surrounding cities and sometimes the county. We have to end duplication of service. We have to insist for a more shared approach to government. An example could be a Metro Police Force. An example could be sharing of public works. There are millions and millions of dollars of savings. You can look to Louisville and Nashville and see other communities that have achieved those savings by having a more regional approach to government. And the other is having a smarter approach to government. That means saying no sometimes as well as saying yes. So another difference is I'm opposed to the South Tulsa Bridge. It is $100 million in new infrastructure costs. We don't have the money. There's no benefit to the city of Tulsa. It's increased congestion. It's going to destroy perhaps the integrity of those neighborhoods. So we have to begin with those two challenges first. We're going to have a more regional approach to government, and we're going to insist about being much more smarter about how we invest with existing resources.
Do you feel you're going to have to find some funding, increasing service fees, or maybe increasing some kind of a tax, impose a tax of some sort?
I think before you do anything like that, you have to establish the trust with the citizens of Tulsa by showing that you're getting the most out of their tax dollars and by showing that you're prioritizing city services. I am not one that is going to make a read my lips pledge. I think that if you believe that from any politician, then you might as well believe the next bridge that person promises. So I do think that we'll look at all existing revenue opportunities. The mayor's doing that now. She has a revenue team. I think we should wait and hear from that team as they make their report. We have increased utilities, 10% for water and 3% for sewer. I might have that backwards, excuse me. But we've increased some utilities. And I think before we do more, we should wait and hear from the mayor's revenue enhancement team.
Okay, you said you're different than your opponent on this. Explain that.
Well, I just explained, I think, two big differences.
How is he different than you?
Well,
on this issue?
I think the biggest difference is about less than 2 years ago, he called for...
and we're talking about, we haven't named him, you're talking about Dewey Bartlett, Republican runner.
Yes, he who must not be named.
Right.
Lord Voldemort.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
Right.
Dewey called for an increase, a permanent increase in our sales tax of 0.5%, an increase in our property tax, and new toll roads for Tulsa. It's our city. Why should we have to pay to drive in it? I'm opposed to all three of those, and I'm certainly opposed to any additional tax increases until we sit down and establish trust with our citizens, all Tulsans, by having a more regional approach to government and by eliminating all the waste and inefficiency and duplication that is there today. There are other cities that have done this. It is time that Tulsa does so as well. We simply can't afford to be inefficient any longer.
You believe there is a lot of waste yet in our government today in City
I
Tulsa?
think that, John, I think that regional government has proven again and again that there are millions and millions of dollars in savings. Athens, Georgia, Louisville, Nashville, Denver, they're all figuring out how to work collaboratively with surrounding municipalities and end that duplication and waste and inefficiency. I'm for it. I'm going to do everything I can as next mayor to implement that. My opponent, I don't think my opponent can do that. And in addition, again, he has indicated that support for that South Tulsa Bridge, provided there are certain provisions that are met beforehand, and I'm simply opposed. That is a tremendous increase in costs to the citizens of Tulsa with no benefit. It will facilitate the loss of our sales tax market share. It will harm those neighborhoods. It will increase traffic. I think it's a very bad investment. I think it's a loser for Tulsa, and I'm opposed to it.
All right. Then, in that regard, the Creek Nation has a plan for the South Tulsa project, and the plan would include the bridge connecting 121st Street just east of Yale and Tulsa to 131st Street in Jenks. Now, a few issues on this. Tribe would place all that land into trust, would make it sovereign, all right? Which makes the tribe would not be subject to city sales tax or county property tax or the city zoning codes. First of all, that issue, how do you stand on supporting the Creeks and what they would like to do?
Well, look, we need to be mindful that they employ about 1,300 people in Tulsa. They have an economic benefit for the city. They employ a lot of folks who live in our community. I've met with them directly. I've met with the chief, and I told him point blank that I cannot support what they're doing out at that South Tulsa location at 121st Street. I'm gratified that the mayor and both senators, Senator Inhofe and Senator Coburn, have already taken a position in opposition, and I let them know point blank that I respect them, but I cannot be supportive of that.
So it would support retail stores, offices, a hotel, outdoor theater, a park. Would it be possible that if it was support, if it went through, that the city would benefit because there would be the so-called spillage that would come about from that?
No, I think the spillage will be an exodus. They'll either go to trust land where there is no economic benefit for the city, or it will facilitate what they call leapfrog development, if I can borrow a term from Planet Tulsa, in the Jinx and Bixby parts, in Jinx and Bixby. And they'll just continue to take away our sales tax market share as they have been for quite some time. I'm not begrudging them. That's what surrounding cities do. They have Chamber of Commerces that are specifically designed to help with retail. Tulsa has a metro chamber. We don't do retail. We've been losing sales tax market share. I'm not faulting them for wanting to engage in economic development, but I don't think it's the right thing for the city of Tulsa to help them, particularly when it's when it's harmful to us, when it's detrimental to the citizens of Tulsa.
All right. Democrat candidate Tom Adelson is our guest. We'll be back. We have many more things to talk about. We'll be back with Tom in just a moment.